Yeah, you read the title right. I said what I said. It is a fetish. Weddings nowadays, or perception about how a wedding should go, has been really twisted as of late. And I'm not just talking about the deviancy that everybody knows about. I'm talking about how people view a wedding, what the value of a wedding is, what makes a wedding beautiful. A wedding is less valuable than a marriage. A wedding is less important than a marriage. A wedding is less beautiful than a marriage. A wedding is less than a marriage. A wedding is only useful, is only valuable, is only beautiful in the fact that it marks the beginning of a marriage. But if the marriage should crack up afterward, then there really wasn't any beauty in that wedding to begin with, because it was founded upon deceit, really. The covenant was broken. And that's the whole point of a wedding, is a covenant and a consummation. So, a marriage is a much more beautiful thing than a wedding. If you should have a less than ideal wedding, but a more than ideal marriage, you're succeeding in life. People who think that all the other days of a marriage are outweighed by the first day of it, in both beauty and importance, are out of their gourd, is what I'm saying. Okay? All right. So, yeah. And the things that are valuable about a wedding, the things that are good in a wedding, the things that are beautiful in a wedding, and there are many beautiful things in a wedding, those things are only as beautiful as they are valuable. And they're only as, the only thing that gives them value is their meaning. Okay? People nowadays just absolutely love all the little wedding traditions, all the little cutesiness, all the little factors that they got really upset with their fiance over, and fought and struggled and scratched at each other and chewed out each other in the late hours of the night over, in order to come to some sort of weak-kneed compromise and start their marriage off, which is the most important part of a wedding, start their marriage off on a worse footing because they cared too much about the wedding. That's a backwards priority. That's an inversion of how you should be viewing a wedding. A wedding is only as beautiful as it is valuable, and it's only as valuable as it is meaningful. So the traditions like the man receiving the bride by having her walk down the aisle escorted by her father, that's a beautiful tradition. That's valuable. That's the sort of thing that makes me tear up when I see it. And when I know the people. I'm not typically just tearing up at no stranger walking down an aisle with a stranger to meet another stranger. But when I know the people involved, and I know what's being done, and I know they know what is being done, and there's an awareness of the importance of what's happening. The father is relinquishing his authority over his daughter, handing her off. She is at that point. I mean, even should the man object later on, or somebody object later on, and then they don't say I do, well, technically, maybe the daughter will resubmit herself to the father, but technically the father has already relinquished his authority, and she's no longer answerable to him. She's just answerable to God, and of course her husband, because typically the marriage does continue on, or the wedding does continue on after that happens. And not a lot of weddings where they're stopping in the middle and the daughter's just like, hey, now I'm free, I'm liberated, I'm gonna go be some woke feminist, not a lot of that going on, thank God. No, most weddings go on to and through the vows, where she submits herself to her husband and gets back under the sort of sheltering canopy of masculine authority, of masculine responsibility for her. Yeah, she gets to blame him for the failures of the wedding or the marriage. We're getting all knocked about on this topic. Let's try and refocus. Yeah, it's your fault too. I say we. Yeah. So that's a beautiful, that's a valuable tradition. Ring giving, oath taking, the first kiss, as a sign of consummation. All these are very valuable and beautiful things. What's less beautiful to me, and I think ought to be less beautiful to everyone, is the freaking having a slow-mo video with perfect lighting of the groom standing looking off into the far east like he's expecting Gandalf to come over the freaking hill with the Rohirrim on the fifth day, sort of thing. The groom staring off to the east, and then the bride tapping him on the shoulder, and he turns around and he goes, "Oh, what? This person that I engaged to is now wearing a white dress? Come on, dude. Did you not expect to turn around and see your future wife, your fiance, standing there?" But and of course, naturally, the lady, wickedly, the lady is upset if he isn't faking his emotion, to the nth degree. She's over here like a reality TV show producer, like Mr. Beast or something. Like, yeah, that expression, that shock and surprise and love wasn't exaggerated enough. Gotta do another take. Come on, get it right this time. I need to see actual friction and tears. Hey, somebody squirt some habanero juice in his eye. Come on, dude. That's not beautiful. That's completely meaningless. What is that representing? Him turning around and seeing her for the first time. It's not. It has no meaning. It's just a fun little tradition that we've picked up contemporarily. Because we like to just heighten the emotion of the wedding and make it pretty and make it gimmicky, really. They're relying on gimmicks to try and convey the beauty of this occasion that is not beautified by the gimmicks. Its beauty is in its underlying meaning. One of the things that touches me the most about a wedding is when I look at these two people standing up before God and man and pledging to have and hold, love and cherish each other till their deaths. And I look at them, and then I look at the audience, and I realize someday this audience, the number of this audience and the variety of personalities in this audience is going to be represented by the number of descendants they have. And I can kind of see like this ghostly army stretching out before me of people like real actual people who do things. One of, maybe multiple of which will be celebrities, other people who will alter the world in ways, better the world, beautify the world in ways you couldn't even predict. And it's all coming out of this that we're celebrating. And if you're like me and you recognize that sort of thing, it's an intense feeling. It's staggering to kind of feel this weight of eternity, actually. Because, while at some point they will match the number of the people in this room, and they'll all be as varied as the personalities in that room. You look over at your best friend sitting up by his girlfriend, and you're like, yeah, me and him, as cool as we are, there are going to be two cool people who are probably going to have a lot of similarities to us in their great great grandchildren. And it's like, yeah, okay, so their descendants will match the number of people in this room, but they're going to keep growing until they're, as numerous as the stars in the sky, the sand on the seashore. These sort of Abrahamic covenant promises is what I'm getting at. It is what I see when I go to a wedding, and that's what really gets me. It's not the pattern of the lace on the dress. That is what people worry about when they're planning their wedding. But it's honestly not something you should be that worried about. It's not something you should snap at each other about, for sure. In fact, I hope as well, I hope I could be more devastated by the content of the homily given by the pastor, if it's an absolute stinker, than I would be by, I told her she looked better in this dress, but she wanted to go with this one instead. Oh, man. But that's often what people get upset about or scandalized about, is, oh, she chose that? Oh, And nobody's over here going like, dude, why is this pastor blowing sunshine up our booty holes at a wedding? This is not funny. This is not good. This is not wholesome. This is not Christian. This is not godlike. This is not pastoral. What is he doing? People don't often get offended about the homily. They think it's one of the dispensable parts of beauty and meaning. No, no, you need a charge, an admonition, a commission when you're setting out on this sort of thing. So obviously in wedding planning, you don't have to be fretting over like, oh no, what's the pastor going to say at the wedding? I better check his notes to make sure. No, because if you're smart, you get a pastor to do the wedding who you trust enough to give a good homily without you having to check and sort of gatekeep the points he's going to cover, okay? And I tell you what, I've heard some homilies at weddings that were like just as meaningful. No, okay, not just as meaningful, but not as meaningful as the wedding itself, but it was very meaningful as a part of the wedding. Whereas, like, goodness gracious, what a motivating sermon. It almost makes me wish I was married, just like everything else in the universe does. It makes me wish that I was married. Just like making this video does. I need a wife. So, yeah. The homily is very important, and nobody cares about the homily. They're like, let's get this pastor that we like, that we're good friends with, and he'll come up with something. Meanwhile, what color tie are the groomsmen going to be wearing? You said freaking crimson? Crimson? That doesn't fit with the ladies' beige. Bugger off. Guys, stop fetishizing the weddings is what I'm saying. A wedding is only, I'm going to say it again, boys, because it's such a banger line. A wedding is only as beautiful as it is valuable, and is only as valuable as it is meaningful. The wedding is less important than the marriage. So, cooking your brains to death for months and months over these frilly little passing vanities that you're going to have at the wedding, and not giving a crud about what's coming afterward, is absurd. There are genuinely women out in the world who would not get married if they knew they were going to have like diminished power over the wedding, over the planning of the wedding, or if they didn't get to plan it at all, because for them it's role playing as a princess, and they can't go without that. Their whole life, they've been hyping this one day up in their head to the point where it will be genuinely impossible for it to live up to a fraction, a tenth, a tithe of the standard of expectation you're setting up for it. That's a terrible idea. That's a genuinely terrible idea that is going to rob you of so much happiness and is going to embitter you against your husband and whoever else should interfere. And that's the way a lot of these things turn out. The woman does get very embittered through the process of planning her wedding, and that's a travesty. That's atrocious. It's contradictory. It's supplant, usurpery. Oh, yes, usurpery to the whole intention of a wedding. You're actively undermining the value of it, the meaning of it, by placing an emotional wedge in between you and other people. Because the whole point of a wedding is to celebrate the union of people. And so if you're contradicting that, you're all out of whack, all kinds of out of whack. Yes. So, let me see. Oh yeah, speaking of role-playing, my goodness, there are weddings where they've been considered ruined by the fact that the bride tripped coming down the aisle. Oh no! Oh, scandal! Outrage! Oh no! Let's pretend we didn't see that because that's so undignified. We can't tolerate the idea of a human being, a flesh and blood human who's committed sins in their life, tripping while walking down the aisle. But meanwhile, speaking of role-playing, let's make this a Lord of the Rings themed wedding and just kind of make the whole event a role-playing thing where he dresses up as Aragorn. And what are we doing, people? You're ruining it, man. You're ruining it. You're ruining it. Okay? So don't make the wedding a weird role play, whether that's role playing as like a princess in a white dress or a literal role play of like Star Wars or one of these nerd franchises. Nerd franchises, hardly know her. So yeah, of course it would be pretty sad to trip on your wedding day going down the aisle. But, you're just demonstrating that you are, in fact, a real human. And this isn't a reality TV show. It's a real wedding between two real people. And that's beautiful. And you're going to have nuptial times later on that night. And then later on, perhaps as a result of those very nuptial times, you're going to have a bouquet of children, a quiver of children, a downright vast army. And not even just an army. It's not everybody is going to be doing the same thing. It's going to be more than an army, a city, a whole kingdom populated with plumbers, electricians, artists, videographers. We're talking any type of person in the world is going to be coming out of your bowels, your union, the union of your bowels. And that's a beautiful thing, and we celebrate that through the wedding. So stop fetishizing the wedding. It is a beautiful thing, but not because of the dresses, not because of the color theory that you used to come up with what the groomsmen versus the bridesmaids are wearing. It's not a beautiful thing because of the flowers. You could strip all these things down. You could even get rid of all the people watching. You could get rid of all these essential things and have an underground wedding where, because of the devotion of the two people involved, the legitimate right acknowledgement in their minds of what's happening and their responsibility to each other and their responsibility to God and their conscientious manner of going about this wedding with that has no accolades, no gimmicks, no gilding on it at all whatsoever, it will be a more beautiful thing than weddings hosted in cathedrals. That's a beautiful sight. It's the meaning, the true inner essence, the teleology and the ontology of the wedding ought to be what drives and informs every single thing you do at the wedding. You need to be conscious about what you're doing. You need to be thinking, what is this communicating to everyone around us? Are we doing this just because we've seen it done by other people and they were cute when they did it? Oh, they were cute. That's often the greatest aspiration of a wedding, is to achieve the title of cute. Oh, wow. Wowzer. Real groundbreaking right there. No, that's not the value of a wedding. In fact, you can often devalue a wedding by making it cute, because what you're celebrating isn't a cute thing. It's a nuclear thing. It's something, the union between man and woman. It's one of the great mysteries of the world. It's one of the great studies of the world. The study of how to make a marriage really work, has to be done with by anyone who wants any sort of success in their marriage. You have to be studying how to make it work, because there's just too many little sexual dissonances between what a man is and what a woman is, for you to not educate yourself to know how to work through and greater glorify your marriage by those dissonances. But no, let's make it cute. Let's make it a fetish. Stop fetishizing weddings. It's not what you should be doing, buddies. Have a legitimate wedding. Have a beautiful wedding. Have a traditional based, sexually dimorphic, freaking covenantal Presbyterian wedding. Yeah, baby.